Twilight movie? I'm a team fucking whatever. There's 2 teams.
Thank God that doesn't exist in podcasts. That disgusting fucking thing where if you were on one person's side, you're the enemy.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Team Leno. How stupid is that?
That's what I was, I guess.
Well, it was such famine thinking back then because there was only a certain amount of
now you know it's not a wig
shows
on there.
Well, I never thought it was.
No,
a wig,
people have seen that thing. That thing on straight.
Isn't it weird that like women can wear wigs, no problem at all? A man wears a wig, it's pretty pathetic.
You're a loser. Absolutely.
Yeah, a man with a hairpiece.
Nice hairpiece.
Yeah.
Or implants. You know, when I lived in L.A., this is true. I lived in L.A., I'd go to Gold's Gym, and my hair was even more out of control. I had big-ass hair.
Yeah, you had a giant fro
big
at one
fucking
point
arms, and these ladies were behind me, and they're like, oh, my God, look at that woman's arms, right? Seriously, I had makeup and the whole 9 yards, and they were just amazed, and they came over, they said, how do you get your arms that big? And I turned around, I said, I don't know, arm workout. And she's like, oh, and I could see their face turn, like, what's a dude? So I was kind of, pretty then. It's like, the younger, a lot of hair, makeup, so... And then that same gym one day, I'm working out. And this guy says, "Nice arms." And I said, "Thanks." He's like, "Who did the work, right?" And I thought he's making. I said, "I didn't. I put in the fucking work. Like who works out for me?" He said, "No. I mean, implants, right?" I'm like, only in L.A. would you have someone in the gym walk up and say, "Oh yeah, implants? Yeah, I have implants." You fucking go to the gym and you do
at the gym
and you do
lifting
curls.
Out, assuming that someone has implants is pretty wild.
But I don't have that big of. I mean, this guy thought
Well, that's how gross L.A. is.
Yeah, it is.
That's like the default assumption is that everything's fake.
Yeah, no matter what.
Where'd you get your butt? Who did your butt?
Who did your butt?
Where'd you get your nose done? Yeah, it's always something.
Everything. No, it's true.
No one wants to believe.
Who does your plugs?
Yeah, no one wants to believe that you're natural.
That's another thing I got too. Weird. I just had a guy today at the airport. He said, "Hey, you still working out?" And I'm like, "You're supposed to say, I see you're still working out, right? You don't ask him if you're still working out. That means you don't look like you work out."
Well, I think he's probably just trying to start a conversation with you.
Yeah, and I did. I said, "You mean I see you're still?" And he goes, "Yeah. What did I say?" I said, "You said, do you still work out?"
Yeah. And what's the answer to that? You just say yes.
I say no. I'm.
You done?
Yeah. No, I said I'm not feeling well. Yeah.
I'm dying.
I'm dying. Yeah. Oh, you didn't hear? Like, well.
Yeah. It's radiation poisoning.
Yeah.
Something happened. One of my toys.
They always say you lift light. I hate that too. I'm in the gym like, you always lift light.
What does that mean?
I guess it means I don't lift. When I do weights, I don't do heavy weights. I don't have spotters. I just do cables and do some dumbbells. But people always say that. You always work light. I'm like, fuck.
People are silly.
I'm heavy for me.
People are silly. There's a lot of people that just don't know what to say. They meet someone famous like you, and they don't know what to say. They just get weird.
They do.
And then afterwards, they probably leave and go, why the fuck did I say that? Jesus Christ, I feel so stupid. I've done that before. Meet famous people, act like an idiot, and they're like, what? Shit. So I try to give people grace.
I'm so true of that. If I see celebrity, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna fuck it up, really, right?
Do you get a lot of people coming to your shows that are famous? You must.
Yeah. We have we had a guy last night. We had a guy here. Chris Jericho was at the show last night. He said hi to you.
The wrestler?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Real nice guy.
You've been at the Luxor for how long now?
19, coming up on 20.
That's crazy.
Yeah, November.
You probably have the longest residency of anybody in Vegas, other than
I think
Penn
they
and
were
Teller,
just talking, but they don't count because one only talks.
Ah.
So
they've been there forever.
They've been there forever. Yeah.
I remember I saw them there in '94, 98. I saw them there in '98.
Yeah,
they're
still
at the Rio. Back when the Rio was nice.
Yeah, right.
Now it's like you got to wear a bulletproof vest.
They should just light it up, shithole.
It's a weird place. It's weird how some of those places they just fall off. They just get tired and then no one wants to go there anymore. But then if they last long enough, then they become like Circus where they're fun.
Right.
It's fun to go there.
No, it is. And in Luxor they just did a whole big revamp on it and nice. It's a beautiful hotel. Every time I walk in, it's spectacular to see the how they made that.
Well, I'm obsessed by Egypt. So for me, it's like I wish the Luxor was the best hotel. I'd stay there every time because it's it's a fucking giant pyramid. We actually
it is the best hotel.
Oh yeah, for sure. For you. We did a Fear Factor stunt where people had to slide down the Luxor once.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they had to
crazy.
Grab flags on the way down. They had to slide down.
All right, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy, pretty ridiculous. Back in the day.
That is crazy.
Yeah, 20 fucking years, man. That's a long ass time to be doing a residency. Well, so before that, you were doing colleges and you were touring, and do you miss any of that? You do a little touring every now.
We do a little touring now and then, but it's only when I get the off time. So if I get a week off, like I'm here. I could be home in my boat, but I'm here.
Right.
I do road shows, but you can't you got to take a break here and there because you can't kill yourself. But I like the touring. I like the bus. You feel like a rock star. You pull up on a bus and you got the big venue and there's a sound check and there's people and we have that at the Luxor, but not like people hanging out by the bus. I get people like, hey, you fucked my mom. I'm like,
Right.
Remember? Now you're getting old.
84?
You remember that? That used to be, remember
Yeah.
you fucked me. Now, hey, you fucked my mom. Pretty soon it'll be, you blew my grandpa. You know, it'll be something. It'll be something.
When
Wait, his grandpa blew me. Your grandpa blew me. Let's get this straight.
your grandpa's a liar.
Yeah.
First of all,
your grandpa's a liar.
he's dead. I'm sorry. On his deathbed. You know, Carrot Top blew me once.
Thank God he's dead. You can't tell
The
anybody.
one thing that's good about not touring though, like, because I mostly just work my club now, is I never feel tired. I like the traveling tiredness
Yep.
is horrible.
Yep.
You realize how bad it is to be flying all the
Yeah,
time.
that is one great advantage of having the show every night at the Luxor, because I leave my house.
Yeah,
and
sleep
come
in your own bed.
Oh yeah, I'm
Oh.
home by 10:30,
Oh.
11 at latest.
That is a huge plus.
Yeah.
That's a huge plus.
Yeah, because the road it can tear you up. And then, like I said, there's the ups and there's pluses and minuses of it. It's fun. You're in a rock, you're a rock band, you know.
There's pluses and minuses, but for me, I mean, this is the first time in my life where I haven't toured.
Yeah.
Like the last few years, last 3-4 years.
Man, it's nice.
Well, I guess 3 years ago I was touring still. Like 2 years, last 2 years. I've just, since the club opened, I just stopped. And it's been amazing. I love it.
Perfect.
You know, all my friends are doing arenas. They send me pictures. I'm like, have fun. I don't want to do it.
I know.
I
That's
fucking
true.
want to get out there.
Yeah,
I
that's
probably
so
will once I make a new hour. Because right now I'm at like 40-something minutes. Once I get a full new hour, I'll probably do some tour dates just for the fuck of it. But
Yeah.
But being at home has giant advantages. It's you don't realize like how much you're destroying your body until you stop doing it. You know?
Oh, it's yeah. Having the show is nice for that reason too. I mean, you have a normal day. You know, I had a dog for a bit. You can take a dog and then go to work and come home. And you're watching Sports Center at 10:30 and bed by 11.
Do you feel weird living in Vegas? Vegas is an odd place. It's like you have to find.
Well, I live in the in the Summerlin area where it's like
Very
normal.
nice.
Yeah,
Very
so
suburban.
it's normal suburban.
But then you go to
suburban.
work inside the Devil's
Then
Balls.
I go inside the Devil's Ball. This is a
Yeah.
good way to put it. And and then
It's hot like the
I
Devil's
leave
Balls.
down the shaft back to Summerlin.
It spits right out the
Yeah,
tip.
you had the tip into Summerlin. Whew, we're home. That was hell.
Yeah.
I mean, I find it funny. There's a college there, and a big college, you know, UNLV. I find that funny because you imagine asking your parents, like, hey, I want to go to college. And they're like, oh, right on. Where are you going to go? Michigan, Iowa? You're like, I'm thinking about Vegas. It's
good
Well,
college,
you're
though.
fucking not going to Vegas for college.
My buddy Sam Tripoli went there.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's good
I mean, it's a
college.
good college. I'm just saying, you know, for,
It is weird.
for the joke purposes.
Well, it seems like Vegas has become more of a community now,
Yeah.
right? They have the Raiders now.
Yeah,
Are they getting a
the
major
Golden
league?
Knights.
Yeah.
And the,
What's
yeah,
the Golden Knights? What are they?
The hockey.
Hockey, right? That's right. They got a hockey team
Hockey.
now.
And they-
Always have fights. Fights.
Oh, yeah.
Almost every
Oh, yeah,
weekend.
right. Fights are
some
big,
some
big,
kind of
big,
boxing
big
or
time.
UFC event or something.
And they're talking of building the baseball stadium, I think,
Yeah, I
for
heard,
the
yeah.
A's.
That's nice. What's going to be the Vegas A's? That's going to be weird.
I guess, yeah, I don't know.
Is it the Vegas Raiders? Is that what they call themselves?
Yeah, Las Vegas Raiders.
That's weird.
Yeah. Everyone, even the commentators, like, yeah, Oakland's. You can't say Oakland Raiders. You can't. You know, it takes a long time. People
Wasn't
still say
it the LA
people still say
Raiders?
Washington Redskins. You know,
Right.
just every Chris Collinsworth last week. You know, the Redskins,
What do they call themselves now? The Redskins.
the Commanders. And you're talking. This is pretty good. I'm like a sports guy. I know this stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Commanders.
Yeah, Redskins is a weird one though.
Washington Commanders.
That one's problematic.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, there's a lot of them, I guess, that though. Maybe there's some article someone did. It was really great. It broke down everything that could be. Like the Braves, the Chiefs, they went through all these different things. We'd have to get rid of everything.
How about Notre
The only
Dame?
thing left was like the Dolphins because they're just
Right.
it's a little. But you can't. You know, it's a dolphin. You can hurt a dolphin. You know.
Well, yeah, but then there's dolphins in captivity. It's
Right.
kind of gross that you're capitalizing on dolphins in captivity.
Right.
There was a lot of people that were upset about the Notre Dame using the Fighting Irish, using that little leprechaun guy.
Right, yeah,
It's
right,
like,
right.
"Hey."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna have a problem with everything. I mean, you know, geez, Louise,
Yep. Yep.
that's all it is.
You ever get protested?
No,
No.
no, she's shocked. No, I haven't. But I thought I had a nightmare one night that I did. Like it'd just be people outside the Luxor just mad about something. No, but I've thought about that because I know people have been. Have you been?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, what? See, that's so strange.
Yeah,
What is that?
minor. Just a bunch of people like mad about something. It's
We
always
hate
something.
bald guys. You know.
It's always something, you know, it's whatever it is. People just get upset. It's always a small group of people because it's actually organized by
Right.
by actual humans versus like these crowdfunded ones,
Right.
where like they show up on tour buses and they
Right.
all have like,
They all have
professionally made
signs.
signs. And they hand them to them. And they're all
Yeah.
getting paid to
Right, yeah,
protest.
yes.
That's a weird thing that
Those
they're
are
doing
crazy.
today. That didn't exist when I was a kid. Like paid protesters.
I don't think so.
I was watching a documentary on it on YouTube the other day that was they followed this woman who is a professional paid protester, and she goes from Free Palestine to this to that to she's been doing it for years. She goes from one protest to the next. And
That's her job.
that's her job. Yeah, and she makes X amount of $100 a day.
Wow.
And they fly around.
Well, it stays at the Four Seasons. Maybe I'll start
I
doing
think
this.
that kind of should be illegal.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it's kind of a lie. It's kind of
It's beyond
fraud.
It's beyond fraud. It's
Yeah.
beyond, and the guy whoever's funding it is right. I mean,
Yeah.
who's paying them?
It's usually NGOs, non-government organizations that get taxpayer money, unfortunately. But it's a weird thing where you're pretending that these people are outraged when they really just want a sandwich.
Right. You see them all the time in the news, and people don't know they're real, right? They don't know they're not real.
No, but
until
when
someone
they get
points
exposed,
it out, like you just did, and then they get exposed, and then people are like, no, you're just listening to the hype of the, what do you call the, the, what do you call it? Well, when they say something,
propaganda,
like, propaganda, or the other one where they're like, oh, that's just, the world's flat and that kind of the conspiracy theories.
Oh yeah.
So I love those because with my dad working at NASA, I would always ask people like, what do you think?
What'd your dad do at NASA?
He was an engineer. He trained the astronauts in the
Was he involved
simulators.
in faking the moon landing? Did you
Nice. Yes. I wish my dad was alive. He'd punch you right now.
Would he?
Oh yeah.
I'm
Because
hard
my
to punch.
dad. Well, no.
I slip. I move.
Yeah. No, because we just had a discussion backstage. Oh God dang, a couple days ago. I don't know what. Something happened about a flag or something. Something about a flag.
The flag waving on the moon?
No, it was something about a flag, like burning flag, something. And I said, my friend said, that's an interesting question. I wonder if the flag is still on the moon. And I said, that's a great question. Like, it's one of those you had to break it down, right?
Yeah.
So I said, well, my dad would know, and I guess I'm not the brightest guy, but I would do like an engineer and would break it down. Well, there's not, there's no wind on the moon. I mean, there might be cosmic something wind up there, but it's not, right? And there's nothing that's going to deteriorate the flag, so it's probably still there.
Unless it got hit by micrometeorites.
Right, something. That's what I mean. Other than that, it would be right.
Because there's no atmosphere on the moon, so a very, very thin atmosphere, so it gets pelted all the time.
Right. That's what I mean. The only thing that would probably but unless how deep the fuckers put it. But my dad trained him to drive that little lunar rover.
Oh.
And so the joke I was going to put in the show, I said, NASA can now. They're good. They can zoom in and look at it. So here's the NASA zoom in on the moon. Mm-hmm. You see the flag. See, I told you the fucking moon's still there. And then we pan over, and there's the Land Rover, but it's up on blocks, and they've looted it and taken all the wheels off of it. I said, see the fucking thing. They've already stole it. They've already teared.
They did take photos. I think it was India. Was it India or China? One of the satellites that they had hovering the moon took appropriately blurry, ambiguous photos of what they claim was the landing site, like where the lunar module was and where the buggy is.
Well, that would be the punchline. Then you go, of course, it's still there in some soundstage in L.A.
I think the soundstage is probably in Vegas. I think it was out in the desert.
It might be near Summerlin. It might be near my house.
Could be. I think it's out where they do like UFO back engineering.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. That's another weird thing. You're right where the Luxor is right across the street from where those guys take off to go to work at Area 51.
My brother flew those.
Really?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Here's the crazy thing. And I probably, my brother was Air Force, and so he retired Air Force, F-16 fighter jet pilot, and now he for about 3 years he flew those red stripe planes. And the weird thing is, I'm in the Luxor when I first got the gig, and I was in my room. It was at the top of the. Not on the light. That'd be a horrible room to be in. People are like, is your room with the light on it? Yeah, my room was with the light on it.
For people that don't know, there's a giant spotlight that they actually had to tone down.
Yeah,
because it was interfering with flights.
It was indeed.
Yeah.
There's 3 things you can see from outer space, by the way: the Great Wall of China, the Luxor light, and my cock. Thank you.
I'm here all week. Try the wings.
I'm actually here all week. So. What was I? So I'm looking out the window, right? Every morning I would look out and I'd see the planes, and I didn't know they were. I thought they were some private guy, there's a big billionaire that has all these jets out there. They were blue, so I thought, this is another billionaire of red jets. And so then there's 4 channels on my TV. It was like when I was a kid, right? And the Luxor was just the Luxor channel, and then so the Luxor channel would have on a loop every day this goddamn thing about the red striped planes. And this is real, right? So I'm watching it, and like, no one in the world knows where these red striped planes are. They fly out of a secret location. I swear to God, in the West, and I'm like. I'm looking out my window like, they're fucking right there. And it's serious. Like, no one knows. For years, people have tried to discover where the red planes fly in and out of. I'm like, this is a joke. So I called my brother and I said, I said, this thing says that you're like top secret. You don't fly anywhere. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. My brother can't tell me. He wouldn't tell me. I just thought that was so crazy. I'm like, there's a whole show saying there's no red planes and there's a mystery to if you could find them. And I'm like,
everybody knows where they are.
I can zoom in and take a picture of it.
That's ridiculous. Everybody literally knows where they are.
Yeah.
You could see them from Mandalay Bay.
Unless they are fake ones. They're the ones that deploy. See, the decoy.
The decoy.
Yeah, just like the 747, then they have the other 747.
Yeah, when Bob Lazar was working on back engineering UFOs, allegedly, that's where he used to fly out of.
Huh.
They'd pick him up there, and he'd fly over to Area S4.
Hey.
Quick little flight out into the middle of Groom Lake.
Sorry. Hey.
Quick layover and come back.
Get out, and they'd say, figure this thing out.
Jeez.
No long-winded intro. I actually got some sleep last night. I'm supercharged. Right now I'm Charles Prime. So let's just dive right in. Yesterday I covered the ongoing YouTube issue YouTubers are debating about with the reduction in views coming out of nowhere, all from Judgment Day, August 10th. Post August 10th, views took a huge decline pretty much across the board on channels, and a YouTuber named Josh Strife Hayes believed he found the culprit, which was desktop views no longer being counted the same way they were prior. This led to a bit of a debate between him and the Spiffing Brit, where the Spiffing Brit, another huge channel, disagreed and believed that that was, a bunch of malarkey, that was a bunch of fish paste. Josh Strife Hayes made a follow-up where he believed he uncovered even more evidence to support his hypothesis and believes he knows exactly the direct root cause, which is monetized views on YouTube not changing, but any views that use ad block were no longer being counted, which is why all the desktop views for channels across the platform were down for the most part, but revenue stayed the same. And to get into the spaghetti and the meatballs, he is 100% right, I believe. I shared that video with people smarter than me who ended up sharing that with YouTube directly. And they kindly requested to not share their direct feedback, but I believe I can mention that they confirm his hypothesis for the most part. Now, right off rip, I want to address one of the most popular theories about this that people were speculating on, that this is YouTube getting rid of bots, banishing bots to the Shadow Realm, because we did just see Twitch do that, and they took like a fucking massive hit.
Would you mind helping me with this, Coach?
Yeah, I got you. It's gonna be 5K. Is that okay?
Yeah, it should be fine.
There you go.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Everyone saw them get clobbered when they lost all the bots there for like a day. So people thought maybe the same thing just happened on YouTube. It does not appear to be the case. It doesn't seem to be YouTube getting rid of bots that has caused this reduction. It does seem that Josh's hypothesis being ad block is the correct one. That is the winning racehorse here in this theory that explains why so many channels have seen a huge drop in views, specifically from desktop.
These channels, despite seeing low computer views from August 10th onwards, had not seen a drop in revenue. And I think that was the key, because that means it's likely to do with unmonetized views or ad block. However, when YouTube is watched through an ad blocker, these adverts don't play. The ad revenue isn't generated, which is bad for YouTube. On screen now is an article showing a previous clash between YouTube and ad blockers written in January 16th, 2024, referencing the November slowdown of 2023, where a change to ad blocker, not YouTube, was the culprit for the slowdown. So YouTube and ad blockers have been in an arms race for a while now, with YouTube wanting to ban ad blockers, even recently making the 3-strike system. You may have experienced it yourself.
Josh is right on the money. He pinned the tail on the donkey. That was the key. That was the chemical X to the Powerpuff Girls formula here. The relationship between the decrease in views having no effect on the creator's revenue, it did help him get into the actual problem. And that was YouTube's calculating of unmonetized views must have changed on August 10th, because that's where it happens the next day. You can literally see it across so many channels' data. I think it's pretty obvious that something happened on August 10th, but we don't know what the cause is exactly yet. What was the reason? In the words of Hoobastank, maybe the reason is you. The thing is, based on Josh Strife Hayes' theory, and now the whispers from the back end, I think I can confidently say with a high level of certainty that the reason is the interaction between content blockers and YouTube has changed, most likely from an update that was on or around August 10th. From what I'm hearing, it was most likely on the ad block side, where what they use in their protocol, what they use in their list, what they changed had the side effect of that data no longer registering with YouTube's backend, so they never even received the signal in the first place, which is why those views weren't recorded. But since they were ad blocked views anyway, they weren't monetized, thus the creator revenue wasn't impacted. And it also explains why all of the other device types, the views don't go down, because it hasn't changed. On desktop, on your computer, you are more likely to have ad blocks installed. Also, it does explain why some creators didn't see a big reduction in views if they are mainly creating shorts content, which most people watch while taking a shit or whatever on their phone, or if the content is catered towards a younger audience. Kids aren't as likely to have an ad block installed. So some of the channels that I've seen talk about how they haven't seen any hit to their desktop views post August 10th, their demographic is skewed much younger. So these kids are most likely not having an ad block installed, so their views are still monetized, thus calculated the same. It explains why long-form videos that have an older audience are now much lower because of the presence of an ad block. It is a pretty watertight theory, and like I mentioned, this has made its way to YouTube.
The lost views were not monetized views, because if they were, we would have seen a reduction in revenue, which we didn't. But there's a third aspect to this. YouTube have claimed they have not changed how long-form views are recorded, and I think they are telling the truth. They haven't changed how they show the data they receive, which leads me to two possible conclusions. Either a huge amount of computer viewers all decided on August 10th to collectively stop watching a huge amount of channels all at once, which I think is remarkably unlikely. Or two, the data of the views wasn't being sent to YouTube because it either didn't happen or did happen and wasn't being sent.
And I think that is exactly right. I think that is the case. I think YouTube is telling the truth. And Spiffing Brit in his video mentions he talks to YouTube directly and they confirm they didn't change the way they calculate views. I don't think that's what's changed. I think the back end with the ad block non-monetized views are no longer even being sent to YouTube to record. I don't believe the data is making it to them. And from the little birdies I've heard talking about this internally at YouTube and everyone else I've shared this with, that does appear to be exactly the case. Now, I don't know if they're going to make an official statement about this. Fingers crossed they do, because clearly this is now a conversation that has reached the eyes and ears of those at YouTube. I think it would be very good if they did. I don't know if they will or not, but I feel like they should.
On the 11th of August, the website Tom's Guide published the article titled, "YouTube just quietly blocked Adblock Plus. The internet hasn't noticed yet, but I've found a workaround." I believe the data I have presented and the slew of channels affected highly likely points to August 10th or 11th, depending on your time zone, being days that the website YouTube and views from desktop or laptop PCs using ad blockers began to interact in an abnormal way, potentially caused by a change to either side, likely the adblock side, and this change caused YouTube to become unusable for viewers using adblock. This prevented videos gaining the expected computer views, but lost views were not monetized anyway, which is why the creators who saw lower view counts from PC did not see a reduction in revenue. I believe what we actually found was a small bit of digital data fallout from the software arms race between YouTube and ad blockers.
This really is an impressive investigation from Josh Strife Hayes here. So he found data to confirm that post August 10th, the next day, there was apparently site-wide outages for people with ad blocks, reporting that they couldn't even use the site that day. So he extrapolates based on this that perhaps the culprit was the ad block made the site unusable, so maybe the viewers couldn't even view the content, which is why there was such a drastic drop in views. However, I believe it's a bit deeper than that. I believe that whatever ad block change happened on or around the 10th or 11th, that made it so that way those views were no longer even being sent to YouTube to record on the back end. I don't think it was just like it's down for a day or two, that's why the views are low, because if that was the case, it would have trended back up, but it hasn't, or at least not in like a way you would expect. It doesn't like go back to the previous patterns falling in line with the normal correlation. There is actually even a public post from YouTube where they do have like a brief mention of ad block and inaccuracies of reported view counts. So on this section here about like what could cause some creators to report a drop in views, outside of like the obvious ones they point out, like maybe you just blow ass, like maybe you're just like a turbo dweeb and shit like that, they do have this one here with the ad blocks about how it can impact the accuracy of the view count tools. Channels whose audience include a higher portion of users utilizing such tools may see more fluctuations in traffic related to updates to these tools, which I think is exactly what happened here. This has been a long, ongoing battle between YouTube and ad blockers. They've tried all kinds of tactics like shaming viewers, like, we see you're using an ad block. Do you want to go to hell? That kind of thing. And this appears to be just the latest development in this. This is like the fucking Krogan versus Solarian war here. YouTube trying to sterilize us with ads, but we're desperately pushing back to try and have the platform not be ruined by it. And now I think that what we're seeing here with this huge view drop post August 10th from desktop views is the result of ad blocks updating, and whatever update they changed on their back end caused YouTube to not record any views that were experienced from users using those tools. I don't think YouTube changed anything on their back end. I think the Spiffing Brit is telling the truth when he says that YouTube told him that they didn't change anything. I think that is honest. I don't think they did. I think it is on the ad blockers end, which is something Josh Strife Hayes also mentions. It appears to be that whatever they updated has now had the unfortunate side effect of no longer having those views calculated for the channels that they watch, because YouTube is not even being sent that data in the first place. It doesn't even get that signal. But anyway, that's kind of the explanation for everything as I understand it, and from everything that has apparently been talked about from the internals of YouTube as well. Really incredible work from Josh Strife Hayes to get to the bottom of this. I'm hoping the YouTube will make an official statement in regards to this, because now it's become such a big conversation piece that it is even leading to like drama on the platform to a certain extent, which, you know, it's just, it could easily be stopped if YouTube would just be, you know, not as tight-lipped about shit that they do have knowledge on in regards to these kind of topics. But anyway, I guess we'll see if they do. That's really about it. So yeah.